Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, this is the best music-oriented podcast and web series on all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the Intermission group.
And I'm fucking pissed because I went to get a beer from Aegis and he didn't have any fucking Coors Banquets.
Highlighters are decent and they're even cheaper than banquets.
So you're pretty much telling me
you're not... beat Voodoo Rangers. Doesn't beat Voodoo Rangers.
You're pretty much telling me you're not buying banquets anymore then.
I might buy some sometimes, but I don't know, lately I've just been getting these because they're cheaper.
Yeah,
well, $20 for 24 of them.
Yeah, well, there goes my beer intake now because I don't fucking drink that Miller High Life bullshit. Shit's nasty, so I got my cup of coffee and I've been needing some anyway, so.
Get a cup of coffee.
Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another legit album review. But before we get into it, today's question of the podcast is, what is your ideal music for a typical morning?
I'm going to listen to music right when I wake up in the morning. I'm probably going to listen to the album The King is Dead by the Decemberists.
For me...
Wake up.
For me, dude, I'm going to fucking mute you, dude. I am too fucking tired, so you're going to have to give me my bearings. For me, dude, it's pretty much... soft rock and jazz. That's all I can really ask for, you know?
Yeah.
It's mostly, if it's like a, like a typical rainy, misty day kind of thing, you know? That's that's my type of stuff right there. I think I would consider today's album review to be like something like that I would listen to in the mornings, honestly, you know? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Minnesota's very own BobDylan. And today's album review is going to be none other than his 1976 album, Desire.
No, I'm going to be blunt with you. I've never listened to BobDylan before. And I'd always heard that he had a terrible voice, but I was listening to this, I was like, his voice isn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting your information from to say that, dude. But you know what? You need to be fucking tarred and feathered for even saying that. How fucking dare you?
I've heard from multiple sources people saying he doesn't have a good voice, but
those people are retarded.
I'm saying I disagree with that.
Those people are retarded. There is nothing wrong with his voice. That's just how he is, man. He is a poetic songwriter. There is a reason why he is considered one of the most influential songwriters of the 20th century. He was there at the most pinnacle times in the latter half of the century, man. So I will tell you this here. The only song I really knew from this album was obviously the opening track. The rest of it I didn't really listen to, but I thought it was actually decent. You know, I thought it was actually
I really liked Hurricane.
Music. Huh?
I really liked Hurricane.
Yeah, and it's a protest song, as a matter of fact, which we will get into soon. But there is a reason why it's considered one of his biggest hits right there, you know? So, all right, so the album was released on January 5th, 1976. It was recorded between July 28th through the 31st and August 11th and October 24th of 1975. The genre is folk rock, but to be honest, it did feel like it was more country-ish, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And he has written country albums before, and he's actually pretty good with that. I actually thought he would be more of a country artist than a folk artist, to be honest with you. But either way, it was released by Columbia Records, and the producer was Don DeVito, who actually worked with BobDylan as well on Hard Rain, Street Legal, and BobDylan at Budokan. So he's worked with BobDylan in the past before. So this, what can I say about this album here? Let me see for the background quick. Basically, there isn't really much for the background. In early 75, he released his album Blood on the Tracks. And and then he started working on this album. And to be honest, this is actually a really successful follow up to another successful album here. Like, this album reached number one on the Billboard Pop Albums chart for 5 weeks, becoming one of his best selling studio albums, and it was certified double platinum. The album reached number three in the UK. It claimed the number one slot on NME's Album of the Year. Rolling Stone named it number 174 on its list of 500 greatest albums of all time for the 2003 and 2012 editions. Sadly, it wasn't included on the recent list. And it was voted number 761 in the third edition of Colin Larkins's all-time top 1,000 albums. So it actually did pretty good. And with some of the music here, it's pretty good. I'm just trying to see what else we have here. For all of music, it got 4.5 stars. Kreisgau's Record Guide gave it a B minus. The Encyclopedia of Popular Music gave it 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B minus. Pitchfork gave it 9 out of 10. Rolling Stone ranked it as favorable, and Tom Hull ranked it at B. Let's see, what else is there? I want to take a look. Oh yeah. Yeah, it did gain a fair share of critical acclaim, and then there was some critiques here and there. Dave Marsh would call it one of the 2 best records Dylan has made since his 1967 album, John Wesley Harding, and gave it a 4-star review on the 1979 Rolling Stone Record Guide. He also mentioned that this album has shown a change in style compared to his other works in 1970s by saying, "But love songs aren't the focus of Desire," which is one of the things that differentiates it from Dylan's other post-rock work. On the best songs, Dylan returns to the fantastic images, weird characters, and absurdist landscapes of the 60s. Some critics were not impressed. Robert Kreisgau wrote, "Although the candid propaganda and wily musicality of Hurricane delighted me for a long time, the deceitful bathos of its companion piece, Joey, tempts me to question the unsullied innocence of Reuben Carter himself, who is the subject of the protest song." He disputed their categorization as protest songs and mused that Dylan's songs about oppressed heroes may have been a reflection of Dylan's own feelings at the time. Nevertheless, there was enough critical support to push Desire to number 26 on the Village Voice's Pause and Job Critics poll for 1976. And then there's a back to the Rolling Stone albums list. Like, it was at number 174 in 2003 and 2012. It did not make it back on there in 2021, unfortunately. Alrighty, so like I said, there isn't a whole lot to go through here for information, but it did reach 2 times platinum with 2 million copies in the US.
All right, want to dig into lyrics?
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing, folks, there is a lot of good information here. Every single song here, except for track 5, has a Wikipedia page. All of it will be included in the description below. And they even have like other information here on the main Wikipedia page for it that we will get to soon. All right, first up is obviously the opening track and one of Bob Dylan's biggest hits, Hurricane.
And I will say, it is the best song on the album. It was very good.
It's one of his top 10 best works, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, it's even then, whenever my dad was listening to Bob Dylan, Hurricane was, I think, his number one, honestly. But I can't remember, to be honest with you. I think it was among his top 3. You know, oh, it is a really good tune. Don't get me wrong, it's really great. I mean, there is a reason why Bob Dylan is so poetic with the work he had made. You know. So, the album opens with Hurricane, arguably the most popular song on Desire. It protests the conviction of former middleweight boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter, who was incarcerated for a triple murder that occurred in 1966, but continued to argue for his innocence. In 1976, Carter won a second trial but was again convicted of the triple murder. Carter would eventually be released in 1985 after the United States District Court judge Haddon Lee Sarakin, who declined to hear Dylan's song when his family offered it to him, ruled that he had not received a fair trial, and state prosecutors decided to not try Carter for a third time. Now, we let me see here. Oh yeah, but he did not get a fair trial, and remember, this was the 60s, and he was being racially profiled.
Yeah, of course.
So that you could see why. Okay, so Dylan was inspired to write after reading Carter's autobiography, The 16th Round, which Carter had sent to Dylan because of his prior commitment to the civil rights struggle. Because Bob Dylan, when the March on Washington happened in 1963, Bob Dylan was somewhere in the crowd actually playing protest songs or, civil rights music, which was pretty cool. Prior to the album's release, this track was re-recorded due to some potentially libelous lyrics, which Dylan had to rewrite. For this more up-tempo album version, the harmony part was sung by Ronnie Blackley, leaving the earlier track with Emmylou Harris unreleased. During the fall tour preceding Desire's release, Dylan and the Rolling Thunder Review played a benefit concert for Carter in New York City's Madison Square Garden. The following year, they played another benefit at Houston, Texas Astrodome. Dylan met with Carter on December 5th, 1975, and performed a concert in Clinton State Prison, in which Carter took to the stage. And this was the same prison that he was incarcerated at. Among those present were representatives of People magazine, who ran an article about Dylan and Carter on December 22nd of that same year. All right, so obviously, I'm sure a lot of you don't know the story of this incarceration of him, so I'm going to quickly get into that for you. But basically, Reuben Carter, who was known as Hurricane, he was a promising upcoming middleweight boxer there at the time. He was promising to be a good middleweight champion, but in 1966, a triple murder occurred at the Lafayette Grill in Paterson, New Jersey, and then afterwards, Carter and another man named John Artis were charged with a triple murder. It was basically like 3 counts of murder right there. They were eventually, the following year, they were found guilty, which were widely reported as racially motivated, obviously. In the years that followed, a lot of controversy emerged over the case, ranging from allegations of faulty evidence to questionable eyewitness testimony to an unfair trial. And then eventually, like after much appeals and all that, in 1985, Carter would eventually be released. Artis was, I think, paroled or released a couple years before him. But in 1985, Carter was released from prison, Just a really, really iconic song right there, Really iconic indeed. Okay, so you want to get into the lyrics, Aegis, or should I first?
Sure.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'll
just
start.
to let you know, folks, I just need to find where it's at on here. There is something that
Don't worry, I won't say that word. I will not say that word.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, folks, that there is a certain slur that is included on this song, but for obvious reasons, we are not going to say the actual word. We're just going to say the letter of it instead. I found it right here. So,
Yeah.
all right, go right ahead, dude. But
All right. Pistol shots ring out in the barroom night. Enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees the bartender in a pool of blood, cries out, "My God, they killed them all." Here comes the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done, put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
yep.
Three bodies lying there does Patty see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do it, he said, and he threw up his hands. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw them leaving, he says, and stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops, and they arrive on the scene with the red lights flashing in the hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple friends are driving around. Number one contender for the middleweight crown had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down.
Bob, you can't swear. You're not a guy that swears.
Yeah, isn't he Jewish?
Um, he was Jewish, but he became a born again Christian.
Okay,
So he converted to Christianity.
cool. Yeah. When a cop pulled him over to the side of the road, just like that time before and the time before that, in Patterson, that's just the way things go. If you're black, you might as well not show up on the street unless you want to draw the heat.
You know what? That part right there. If you're black, you might as well not show up on the street. That
Especially
cannot
in
be.
Minneapolis right now with ice and shit.
Yeah. And not to mention, like back in the 50s and 60s, or anywhere in the southern US, dude, it was not a good thing to be black, because of all the segregation and all the discrimination back then.
Yeah. Right. Alfred Bello had a partner and he had a rap for the cops. Him and Arthur Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. He said, I
Prowling.
saw two men running out. They looked like middleweights. They jumped into a white car with out-of-state plates. And Miss
I'm
Patty
sorry, dude.
Valentine,
I was gonna say that for some reason right there, dude. I just thought back to the famous white Bronco chase with my boy O.J. Simpson and Al Cowlings.
excuse me.
I could do better than you. All right, continue on.
Right, and Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, wait a minute, boys, this one's not dead. So they took him to the infirmary, and though this man could hardly see, they told him he could identify the guilty man. 4 in the morning, and they haul Robin in. They take him up to the hospital, and they brought him upstairs. The wounded man looks up through his one dying eye, say, why did you bring him in here for? He ain't the guy. There's a story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done, put in prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. 4 months later, the ghettos are in flame, Rubens in South America fighting for his name, while Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game, and the cops are putting the screws to him, looking for someone to blame. Remember that murder that happened in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? You think you'd like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw running that night? Don't forget that you are white.
And I
Arthur
fought the
Dexter
law,
Brad
and the law won. I had to
Arthur
do it.
Dexter Bradley said, I'm really not sure. The cop said a poor boy like you could use a break. We got you for the motel job. We're taking you to your friend Bello. No, you don't want to have to go back to jail. Be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We want to put his ass in stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman Jim. Reuben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. It's my work, he said, and I do it for pay. And when it's over, I'd just as soon go on my way. Up to some paradise where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along a trail. But then they took him to the jailhouse, where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. All of Robin's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus. He never had a chance. A judge made Rubens witness drunkards from the slums. To the white folks who watched, he was a revolutionary bum.
All right, folks. So this is right where the slur is coming, but like I said, we're gonna censor it right here. So you just go on,
Yeah,
continue.
yep. And to the black folks, he was a crazy beep. But
Yeah.
no one noticed that he pulled the trigger. And though he could not produce the gun, The DA said that he was the one who did the deed, and the all-white jury agreed. Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder. One. Guess who testified? Bellow and Bradley, and they both badly lied, baldly lied. And the newspapers, they all went along for the ride. How can a man of, how can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously framed couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sun rise, while Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. Yes, that's the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. That's fucking powerful. Powerful.
Yeah, the unfortunately it took 9 fucking years after this song to for them to finally release him.
And they let him go.
Yeah. Even
Did
then
they
I
reconcile with what they put him through?
what's that? I
Did
mean,
did they give him reparations for what they did to him?
I think they did. Let me take a look quick. I want to look at this quick. All I can say is they better have given him reparations.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. I'm just taking a look quick. It doesn't say anything about it on here. I don't think they've given him reparations.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, even then, at the end of the day, it's amazing to see that somebody at least did fucking care enough to spread the message. And who else but Bob Dylan to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a reason why this is one of his biggest songs of all time. Even then, this would be a great podcast topic to do one of these days. It's talking about protest songs or like anything that's politically
Yeah.
charged kind of thing, you know. And we all know
You do
which
some
band that what bands we know of that do them pretty well.
System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine.
Rise Against did that a few times, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so next up for the next song, it's called Isis. And before you ask, ladies and gentlemen, no, it's not about the terrorist organization in the Middle East. It's
I
not
think it's
about
about
the
the
crime. It's
Egyptian.
not about the freaking crime Cold War like syndicate organization that was in the TV show Archer. It was just
Is it a
named that.
reference to the Egyptian goddess Isis?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Well, Egypt's in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so here we go. One of the most celebrated songs on Desire is the symbolic travelogue Isis. According to, oh god, I was about to sneeze for a moment. Fuck, I hate that. Fuck.
I want to say it just quick. I also really liked this song too. This was a good song.
I thought it was good too. I actually did like the beat. I did like the the music, the beat
Yeah.
or whatever, you know.
That's the main thing I judge the music we listen to by is not by the lyrics, but how it sounds.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, dude, haven't you ever listened to Like a Rolling Stone?
I've not.
It's considered Bob Dylan's greatest song ever, and
Okay.
I think it's number one or two on Rolling Stone's greatest songs of all time. And I think to give you an idea of where it's on my all-time songs list, I think it would be at number 14 for my all-time favorites. So, all right. So to continue on, according to music critic Tim Riley, Isis tells the story of a young groom who marries his bride before he learns the value of loyalty. Riley wrote that the story told of a man who learns about the love of a woman through the deception of another man and a quest for riches that resigned itself to the quest for human contact. Also, the protagonist mistakenly believes that his quest is for treasure when an ulterior purpose is at play. When he approaches the tomb, he finds it empty and without any reward. Unbeknownst to him, he was playing a part in a higher storyline. The tomb eagerly awaited for the arrival of his companion, who dies immediately. When he chucks the body into the empty space, he realizes that a folly this whole adventure has been and decides to return to the arms of his knowing wife. Dude, doesn't this not sound like your typical treasure hunting trope? Or
Yeah.
typical treasure hunting stereotype? You find gold, but then all of a sudden you run into like a fucking volcano or magma or whatever. You're trying to save the gold, and they just tell you to let it go. I'd be like, you know what? Just let me jump down there. I don't fucking care. Like I said, folks, it's not about the terrorist organization. So,
All right, this is the part where I say I have to pee, and they're like, "Oh, not again! You're gonna pee again, you fucking piece of shit." And then I say, "Sorry, I got a weak bladder." And they're like, "Ah, fine."
took the words right out of my mouth, people. Took the words right out of my fucking mouth. Subscribe today if you haven't yet to the Roger Radio Show, and also subscribe to El Gallo Productions and the Interrobang Group, and follow me on all my social media. Do all of that, and you'll win yourself a free Android phone, 22 phone, or whatever fucking version we're on right now for phones. I'm not gonna pay for it. You guys are gonna pay for it. Fucking Miller High Life. Who are you fucking kidding, Aegis? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
All right, it's your turn with
Oh,
the lyrics.
yeah, I'm just taking a look at some more of this stuff here. Yeah, pretty much with most of these songs here, I think they're pretty much self-explanatory, so we don't really have to dive into them, kind of
Yeah.
thing. All right, it goes a little like this. I married Isis on the 5th day of May. Hey, dude, Revenge of the Fifth. Bob Dylan marries Isis on the 5th day of May, which is like the sequel day for celebrating fucking Star Wars. But I could not hold on to her very long, so I cut off my hair and I rode straight away for the wild unknown country where I could not go wrong. I came to a high place of darkness and light. A dividing line ran through the center of town. I hitched up my pony to a post on the right. Very Western right there. Very fucking Western. Went in to a laundry to wash my clothes down. A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got no money." He said, "That ain't necessary." Fuck. Had to get my hiccups out of there. We set out that night for the cold in the north. I gave him my blanket. He gave me his word. I said, "Where are we going?" He said, "We'd be back by the 4th. May the 4th be with you." I said, "That's the best news that I've ever heard." Yeah, is it my imagination, or did Bob Dylan somehow fucking predict Star Wars would come a year later? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I was thinking about turquoise. I was thinking about gold. I was thinking about diamonds and the world's biggest necklace. As we rode through the canyons, through the devilish cold, I was thinking about Isis, how she thought I was so reckless. What, an Isis ain't reckless? Is You don't think ISIS is that reckless at all?
No, they're pretty reasonable.
For fuck's sake. For fuck's
Just kidding,
sake.
just kidding. I do not support ISIS. Fuck ISIS and everyone in it.
You just get rid of the is and then you just got ice. How she told me that one day we would meet up again and things would be different the next time we wed. If I only could hang on and just be her friend. I still can't remember all the best things she said. We came to the pyramids all embedded in ice. He said, "There's a body I'm trying to find. If I carry it out, it'll bring a good price." 'Twas then that I knew what we had on his mind. The wind, it was howling and the snow was outrageous. We chopped through the night and we chopped through the dawn. When he died, I was hoping that it wasn't contagious, but I made up my mind that I had to go on. I broke into the tomb, but the casket was empty. There was no jewels, no nothing. I felt I'd been had. When I saw that my partner was just being friendly, when I took up his offer, I must have been mad. I picked up his body and I dragged him inside, threw him down the hole, and I put back in the cover. And I put back the cover. I said a quick prayer and I felt satisfied. Then I rode back to find Isis just to tell her I love her. She was there in the meadow where the creek used to rise, blinded by sleep and in need of a bed. I came in from the east with the sun in my eyes. I cursed her one more time, then I rode on ahead. She said, "Where you been?" I said, "No place special." She said, "You look different." I said, "Well, I guess." She said, "You been gone." I said, "That's only natural." She said, "You gonna stay?" I said, "Yeah, I might do." Oh, I thought it was gonna say I thought it would say I said no, I'm moving on.
Hmm.
Isis, oh Isis, you mystical child. What drives me to you is what drives me insane. I still can remember the way that you smiled on the 5th day of May in the drizzling rain. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I wonder why you smiled. It was the 5th day of May, and right after May 4th is when they celebrate Star Wars, which means May the 4th be with you. And then the next day, it's another holiday called Revenge of the
Revenge of the
5th.
Fifth.
So, Illuminati confirmed. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Illuminati confirmed right there.
All right. So this next song is called Mozambique.
Yeah, or
Nasa likes this
Mozambique.
one.
Um, I was gonna say, yeah, it's another catchy tune. I'm not really
Yeah.
crazy for it, but it's a catchy tune and whatnot. So, basically, um, as far as it says, Mozambique allegedly started as a game to see how many rhymes for eek, IQUE, Dylan and Jacques Levy could
Hmm.
find. Um, I don't think it doesn't really have much for. Yeah, I'm looking right here. It doesn't really have much information about the song here, or even any story plot to it. So,
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
just
have anything on Genius either.
yeah. Do you just want to go ahead and start?
Dive into lyrics.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
dive into it. Let's cut the
All right.
shit and dive into it.
I used to spend some time in Mozambique. The sunny sky was aqua blue, and all the couples dancing cheek to cheek. It's very nice to stay a week or two and maybe fall in love, just me and you. There's a lot of pretty girls in Mozambique, and plenty of time for good romance, and everybody likes to stop and speak to give the special one you seek a chance, or maybe say hello with just a glance. Lying next to her by the ocean, reaching out and touching her hand, whispering your secret emotion, magic in a magical land. And when it's time for leaving Mozambique, it's to say goodbye to sand and sea. You turn around and take a final peek, and you see why it's so unique to be among the lovely people living free upon the beach of sunny Mozambique.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. I know that Mozambique is a town in Africa.
Yeah, I've been there.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, um it's in East Africa. I can't remember what part it is though. But how do we know if there are a lot of uh pretty girls out there, you know?
Well, it's in Africa, so there's bound to be a lot of
Oh
cute
yeah, it's
women.
not a city, it's a country. All right, let me take a look one more time. I'm gonna take a look at something one more time. I say let's do one more song and then let's go to break. What do you say?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
All right, the next one is just simply titled "One More Cup of Coffee," or in parentheses, "Valley Below."
Are you almost done? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wrote this one down as one more cup of kefefe.
Kafefi.
No, I like the song too. It's a pretty good one. Probably, I might say
Kafefi.
even like the second best song on the album.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what I would rank it at, honestly. I wasn't all too excited for this one, to be honest with you. Um, no, there's a lot of good tunes here, but like there's some of them that are just like, all right, so
Right.
let's continue on with the story, shall we?
Yeah.
One more cup of cafe, or how do you say it again?
Kefefe. Kefefe.
Cafe. The story of One More Cup of Cafefe Valley Below tells the tale of a girl whose family are drifters and of the man who must leave her to enter the valley below. The narrator describes a character who is beautiful. Your eyes are like two jewels in the sky, but for whom the narrator's love and admiration are not reciprocated. But I don't sense affection, no gratitude or love. Your loyalty is not to me, but to the stars above. Dylan claimed to have composed the song while visiting the Roma Festival in Santos Marie de la Mer, a French town in the Rhone River Delta in 1975 on his 34th birthday. Oh, that must have been a hell of a birthday for you, Mr. Dylan. The song is a duet between Dylan and Emmylou Harris as an incidental to its use of harmonic minor scale and Dylan's melismic singing
Ooh.
style.
I like
It
harmonic minor.
Yeah, it has a Spanish gypsy flavor in the vocal melody. There is some of that, yeah. It was
So
perf-
what? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it was performed several times in live concerts in November of 78. The song was used in the 1998 Larry Clark film Another Day in Paradise. It was covered by the White Stripes on their 1999 debut album. Okay. Robert Plant covered the song in his 2002 album Dreamland. In 2003, the Sertab Eraner cover of the song appeared on the soundtrack of the movie Masked and Anonymous. There is also a version by Roger McGuinn and Calexico for the 2007 film I'm Not There. 80s punk singer Nina Hagen released a version with German lyrics on her 2011 album Volksbeat, and Tom Jones covered the song for his 2021 covers album Surrounded by Time.
So what it means when it says it's in harmonic minor? So what harmonic minor is you take a classic like minor or Aeolian scale, which normally has a flat seven, but you put that into a major seven, so you
Yeah.
have a little like minor third gap in the scale, and it is a conf is commonly it's what is kind of known as like a gypsy scale they call them,
Oh, yeah.
because a gypsy scale is usually just any scale that has like a minor third jump in between two consecutive notes in the scale.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I like using odd scales in my music. It's very fun.
Yeah, add that weird ass texture to it, right?
Hmm.
I got you, man. Yeah, pretty much the story speaks for itself here, but yeah, it's your turn, right? Or
Yeah.
wait, it is my turn, isn't it?
But yeah, it is your turn. It is your turn. My bad.
Okay, yeah, but I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. So, all right. Your breath is sweet. Your eyes are like two jewels in the sky. Your back is straight. Your hair is smooth on the pillow where you lie. But I don't sense no affection, no gratitude or love. Your loyalty is not to me, but to the stars above. Dude, could you imagine this being a Valentine's card? It's like a big
Hmm.
fuck you Valentine's card, like I'm breaking up with you on Valentine's Day kind of thing. Oh my god. One more cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. Your daddy, he's an outlaw and a wanderer by trade. He'll teach you how to pick and choose and how to throw the blade. He oversees his kingdom, so no stranger does interlude. His voice, it trembles as he calls out for another plate of food. One more cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. Your sister sees the future like your mama and yourself. You've never learned to read or write. There's no books upon your shelf, and your pleasure knows no limits. Your voice is like a meadow lark, but your heart is like an ocean, mysterious and dark. One more cup of coffee for the road, one more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. Okay, so yeah, I guess it's break time, right? Shall we take an intermission?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them, jerk off if you have to. I don't care. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few months since I started this podcast and YouTube channel, I've been preaching a whole lot about how rock and roll is the one true music genre to listen to. That's because it's the only good music out there. And obviously, I have a strong hatred for adult contemporary and pop music. I believe it's the greatest crime against humanity since the Holocaust. And I don't know why, ladies and gentlemen, had to buy these, obviously, because it's music related. Selena Gomez Oreo cookies. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would you buy these, Roger? Because I'm pathetic and I'm asking for help! Alright, let's see what we got here. It's almost like the Post Malone Oreo cookie here. Cheers. Welcome back to the Roger Radio Show, and I am here with my boy Aegis Don Levity, who has never lost a Charles Manson lookalike contest.
For the record, I've never won one either. I've never participated in one.
Just imagine, dude, just imagine you start your own cult or whatever, but instead of the Nazi swastika that he did, you put the Intermission logo right there. Aegis Manson or Aegis Hansen.
You can call me Aegis Handsome.
Handsome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to get back into it. We are still reviewing Bob Dylan's 76 album, Desire and Aegis. We were talking earlier about it, man. It's the one thing that saddens me about this album is that I did not listen to the majority of this album. The only song I really knew that was off it was Hurricane for obvious reasons,
To be honest, I only liked 5 out of the 9 songs on this album.
It's hard for me to say what I like out of here, I think, excuse me, Hurricane obviously is one of them. I think there was, Joey I liked.
Yeah, I liked the first 4 songs. I really liked the first 4 songs, but this one and the next 2, I think I did not really care for. Starting with Oh Sister.
Yeah, and that's the next one. It's called Oh Sister. And hang on a second. All right, so this was the only song that did not have a Wikipedia page of its own. I don't think there's any information about this song, but what it says right here is that for on the main Wikipedia page is that "Oh Sister" became a concert favorite during the fall tour preceding Desire's release, a poignant call for reconciliation to the most extreme feminist radicals of the 1970s. Emmylou Harris's vocals on the final mix was actually overdubbed a day later, one of the few overdubs made during the Desire sessions. I think if I remember correctly, you're next.
Yeah, okay, just had to get that burp out of me. Uh,
Yeah, I was just looking at you with a very cynical look like, oh, you motherfucker.
Before I start the song, Maria, this song is called "Oh Sister." This is not directed at you. Okay.
Because she had to fucking move in with them.
All right. Oh, sister, when I come to lie in your arms, you should not treat me like a stranger. Our father would not like the way that you act, and you must realize the danger. Oh, sister, am I not a brother to you, and one deserving your affection? And is our purpose not the same on this earth to love and follow in his direction? We grew up together from the cradle to the grave. We died and were reborn and then mysteriously saved. Oh, sister, when I come to knock on your door, don't turn away, you'll create sorrow. Time is an ocean, but it ends at the shore. You may not see me tomorrow. I was expecting that to be like more of a love song, and that was going to be kind of weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I think if you were an Alabama family, I think this would be an appropriate love song. Oh man. Right, yep, and if you're wondering, folks, that was an incest joke that I made. Hey, remember, dude, back in the old days, like in Egypt, man, they must have committed God knows how much incest, even in the Roman Empire, right?
I mean, like, even in Christianity, like, it started with Adam and Eve,
Oh yeah, there
and then
is
that,
that. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I was gonna
So
say,
for a
but
while, if you believe in the Old Testament, for a while, like, literally everyone was committing incest.
yeah.
But then later on, after that was done, the Bible's like, yep, don't do that. That is bad.
Yeah, that is blasphemy. That is blasphemy. Me, if you want to have sex and have kids, do it with someone who's not a blood relative.
Exactly.
Otherwise it would probably end up like that fucking episode of the X-Files, you know?
The episode Home. That was the fun fact. Home was the only episode of the X-Files to get a TV MA rating.
Yeah. And I wasn't it only broadcasted like one time and then never again, or was it never broadcasted because of how disturbing it was?
I think it was broadcast once, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I remember my mom, I think, did watch that episode and she recalled that it was really disturbing. So, no,
Honestly, it's really disturbing, but it's still one of my favorite episodes.
right. And I can't remember what, yeah, and then just seeing how fucking mutated that family was. You'd think
Yeah.
that they were the sewer mutants from Futurama, but they traveled way back in time. And that's what we got. Or, it's like some sewer mutants traveled way back to the past and then ended up having sex with the mother or something, and that resulted in all the mutated ass children, right?
All right, so Joey also really
What
didn't care
about
for this
him?
one. Really did not care for Joey that much. It was all right, but
You know, here's the thing
it
about
was one
this
of my
song
less
right
favorite
here.
ones.
You know, here's the thing about this song right here, to be honest with you, man. Um, it some reason there was like I can't remember what the instrument was, but it almost made it sound like it was Italian like music. Or if you ever played the video game Pac-Man World like I did, and you're playing like the pirate levels, that was the tone I kept hearing. What the fuck is that tail in the background about?
That's the cat.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, he just realized that he couldn't get any pussy, so he ended up
Meow
getting
meow.
his own.
Yes, I didn't want any pussy in the first place. Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's actually a lot nicer. My cats are fucking divas. My cats hate
This
me.
cat is a really nice cat.
I know, dude.
Yeah, my sister found it in the engine bay of an Ultima, so she named her Ultima.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real cool, man, All right.
No, don't play with my mouse.
Well, it's a cat. Of course it's gonna play with a mouse. So to continue on with the story, ladies and gentlemen, consider pretty much declared as the longest song of the album. Joey, a 12 stanza ballad, describes the life of deceased gangster Joey Gallo and created a substantial amount of controversy when Desire was released. Dylan presents Gallo as an outlaw with morals in the tradition of songs like Woody Guthrie's Pretty Boy Floyd. Dylan's Gallo refused to kill innocent people, made peace with black men, and shielded his family when he was about to be shot as they were eating in a restaurant. Many commentators, notably rock critic Lester Bangs, have argued, however, that Gallo was known as a vicious mafioso whose documented career was not accurately reflected in the song's lyrics. Okay. The song details the killing of Gallo in Umberto's Clam House in Little Italy, Manhattan on April 7th, 1972. Graphic details of the murder have been published in Donald Goddard's book Joey, a biography, Harper and Row, 1974. While Gallo's friends, actor Jerry Orbach and his wife Marta, were introduced to Dylan through Levy. Dylan said in 1975 he had considered Gallo more of a hero than a gangster. After hearing Jerry and Marta Orbach talk about Gallo, Dylan and Levy wrote the entire song in one night. Unlike legendary outlaws like Robin Hood or historical ones like Jesse James and Billy the Kid, Gallo was not a figure of the distant past, nor was he mytholo- uh, mythologized.
Mythologically,
It says mythologized.
I think it's
Uh,
pronounced mythologized then.
yeah, I think so. But either way, he was mythologized by tall tales that spread by word of mouth and the local press. With Gallo's life still prominent in the minds of the public and without favorable media coverage, Dylan's attempt to romanticize Gallo was greeted with an enormous amount of contempt by the press, public officials, and private citizens alike. Goddard's biography depicted Gallo as a racist who often beat his wife and abused his children, and who had taken part in a brutal gang rape of a young boy while he was in prison. None of these details was mentioned or alluded to in Dylan's Joey. Instead, the song paints a far more romantic portrait, incorporating a lyric like Gallo. That Gallo, it was true that in his later years he would not carry a gun. I'm around too many children, he'd say. They should never know of one. Lester Bangs later wrote a scathing response to a question posed by Dylan in the song's chorus. What made them want to come and blow you away? In a Village Voice article published on March 7th, 1976, Bangs argued that some could have considered there to have been an open contract on Gallo for his shooting of gangster Joe Colombo almost a year previously. Bangs also suggested that two other theories advanced by advanced investigators extremely close to the case show Gallo attempting to lay claim to territory occupied by other more powerful mob factions. Despite all the controversy, Clinton Halen noted that Joey remained the one song from Desire that have regularly featured in concert in the 90s. In an interview with Bill Flanagan for his album Together Through Life in 2009, Dylan did say that Jacques Levey wrote the lyrics to Joey and that he only sang them. So yeah, there you go for that.
All right, it's your turn to dive into the lyrics, brother.
I gotta give my throat a quick moment, dude. All right. Okay, so the lyrics go a little like this. Born in Red Hook, Brooklyn, in the year of who knows when. Opened up his eyes to the tune of an accordion. Always on the outside of whatever side there was. When they asked him why it had to be that way, well, he answered just because. Larry was the oldest. Joey was next to last. They called Joe crazy. The baby they called Kid Blast. Some say they lived off gambling and running numbers too. It always seemed that they got caught between the mob and the men in blue. Joey, king of the streets, child of clay, Joey, what made them want to come and blow you away? There was talk they killed their rivals, but the truth was far from that. No one ever knew for sure where they were really at. When they tried to strangle Larry, Joey almost got hit the roof. He went out that night to seek revenge, thinking he was bulletproof. Then the war broke out at the break of dawn. It emptied out the streets. Joey and his brothers suffered terrible defeats till they ventured out behind the lines and took 5 prisoners. They stashed them away in a basement, called them amateurs. That sounds like the synopsis for Roger's Basement. The hostages were trembling when they heard a man exclaim, "Let's blow this place to kingdom. Come, let Con Edison take the blame." But Joey stepped up. He praised his hand, said, "We're not those kind of men. It's peace and quiet that we need to go back to work again." Joey, king of the streets, child of clay, Joey, what made them want to come and blow you away?
Uh,
The police department hounded him. They called him Mr. Smith. They got him on conspiracy. They were never sure who with. "What time is it?" said the judge to Joey when they met. 5 to 10, said Joey. The judge says that's exactly what you get. He did 10 years in Attica reading Nietzsche,
Nietzsche. Nietzsche.
Nietzsche, and Wilhelm Reich. Or Wilhelm Reich, you know. I heard him say Wilhelm or whatever. They threw him in the hole one time for trying to stop a strike. His closest friends were black men because they seemed to understand what it's like to be in society with a shackle on your hand. They let him out in 71. He lost a little weight, but he dressed like Jimmy Cagney, and I swear he did look great. He tried to find a way back into the life he left behind. To the boss, he said, "I have returned, and now I want what's mine." Joey, king of the streets, child of clay, Joey, what made them want to come and blow you away? Just need to look. It was true that in his later years, he would not carry a gun. I'm around too many children. He'd say they should never know of one. Yet he walked right into the clubhouse of his lifelong deadly foe, emptied out the register, said, "Tell him it was Crazy Joe." One day they blew him down in a clam bar in New York. He could see it coming through the door as he lifted up his fork. He pushed the table over to protect his family. Then he staggered out into the streets of Little Italy. Joey, king of the streets, child of clay, Joey, what made them want to come and blow you away? Sister Jacqueline and Carmela and Mother Mary all did weep. I heard his best friend Frankie say he ain't dead, he's just asleep. Then I saw the old man's limousine head back towards the grave. I guess he had to say one last goodbye to the son that he could not save. The sun turned cold over President Street, and the town of Brooklyn mourned. They said a mass in the old church near the house where he was born, and someday if God's in heaven overlooking his preserve, I know the men that shot him down will get what they deserve. Joey, king of the streets, child of clay, Joey, what made them want to come and blow you away?
I like the lyrics more than I like the music of the song. The lyrics were solid, solid lyrics. I just didn't like the way the song sounded. It was just kind of boring to me, to be honest. Which is one of the hard things about making a really long song like that is you gotta switch it up a bit and make it good enough that you can stay engaged through the whole song, which I did with Hurricane. Hurricane was a
Yeah.
long song and it was executed well. But this is the thing a lot of prog groups do is they'll make really long songs. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh
It's
God,
very
dude.
challenging to make a really good long song like that that keeps you engaged. and
Yeah.
that tells a good story or whatever else with the lyrics.
That's a, and even then, like there was like a few songs that I've listened to by Yes that are pretty
Yeah.
known for some of their very lengthy tapes. I mean, there was like a couple songs from Close to the Edge, and then there was pretty much all their songs from Tales of Typographic
Mm.
Oceans.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
that's a very common thing with progressive rock groups, but a lot of them don't execute it as well as they could have.
Yeah,
Because sometimes what they'll do with these progressive rock groups is they'll just like be soloing for on and on and on, and which can work if you're a good improvisational soloist or if
yeah,
you have good material composed already. But sometimes when you're just pulling it out of your ass and you're improvising a solo in music, it doesn't always turn out right. You can't, you want to be a little bit repetitive. You want to have some licks that kind of repeat through it, but you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You don't want to, and you don't want to keep like improvising with no like callbacks or anything like that.
yeah.
It's hard to do.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. All right. So next up, we got Romance in Durango, and I'll be
Romance
honest.
in the back of a Durango.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you. This almost sounds like a song that you would hear in like them old Western films that you would watch back in the day. Like John Wayne
Yeah.
and Clint Eastwood westerns. Some reason this song is almost like something that you would definitely hear on one of them. You know what I mean?
All right. All right.
Okay.
You go with. Oh, you want to tell the backstory, don't you?
Yeah, I gotta quickly tell this
All right,
here,
you
and then
you
you
go
get the
on with.
lyrics next.
Okay.
Okay, so Romance in Durango concerns an outlaw and his lover on the run in Mexico. Halen described the song as the climax to an unmade Sam Peckinpah movie and song. In allusion to the
Ooh.
1973 Peckinpah film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, for which Dylan wrote and performed the score, and which was filmed in Durango. The song was covered in Italian by singer-songwriter Fabrizio De Andre as Aventura a Durango, using Neapolitan to stand in the for Spanish lyrics in the song. In Portuguese by Raimundo Fagner as Romance no Deserto, and in Polish by Dylan Pill or PL project with Maria Shadowska entitled Romans with Durango.
No, so Sam Peckinpah was a crazy alcoholic. But he made like two really good films in his career. That was The Wild Bunch and Straw Dogs.
Yeah. I mean, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, in which Bob Dylan actually did perform in as an actor. It didn't really do well. It was the soundtrack that he made for it that did good. So alrighty, so it's your turn now.
All right. Hot chili peppers in the blistering sun, dust on my face and my cape. Me and Magdalena on the run. I think this time we shall escape. Sold my guitar to the baker's son for a few crumbs and a place to hide, but I can get another one, and I'll play Magdalena as we ride. I'll play for Magdalena as we ride. Sorry.
Nah,
Fuck. I don't even know. It says, No llores, mi querida, Dios nos vigilia, which translates to, Don't cry, my dear, God watches over us.
yeah,
Uh, Soon the horse will take us to Durango. Uh, Agarrame mi vida, which means hold tight, my life. Life in the sense of lover.
yeah,
Soon the desert will be gone. Soon we will be facing the Fandango. Past the Aztec ruins and the ghosts of our people. Hoofbeats like castanets on stone. All night I dream of bells in the village steeple. Then I see the bloody face of Raymond. What was it me that shot him down in Cantina? Was it my hand that held the gun? Come, let us fly, my Magdalena. The dogs are barking, and what's done is done.
Yeah.
And it repeats the chorus, which I'm not going to say again because it's got a bunch of fucking Spanish. Now, no fucking Spanish.
What are you trying to insinuate? Are you saying that you can't, that it's bad or what?
No, I just don't know Spanish, and I'm not going to pronounce it
Dude,
correctly.
when I
I
was
don't want to
announcing
embarrass myself anymore.
Dude, when I was announcing the Grammy nominations on one of my earlier podcasts, dude, I had such fucking
You're gonna.
horrible pronunciations for the world cultural stuff, or the world beat stuff, or the other countries, dude. Like, oh
Oh,
my. I was like,
no,
dude, people are gonna see me as racist because I couldn't pronounce them correctly.
sorry, I'm laughing. You said I have such terrible pronunciations in which you mispronounce the word mispronunciations. Sorry. Uh, in the corrida, we'll sit in the shade and watch the young toreros stand alone. We'll drink tequila where our grandfathers stayed when they rode with Villa and Torreon. Then the padre will recite the prayers of old in the little church this side of town. I will wear new boots and an earring of gold. You'll shine with diamonds in your wedding gown. The way is long, but the end is near. Always the fiesta has begun. The face of God will appear with his serpent eyes of obsidian. Then the chorus again. Was that the thunder that I heard? My head is vibrating. I feel a sharp pain. Come sit by me. Don't say a word. Oh, can it be that I am slain? Quick, Magdalena, take my gun. Look up in the hills, that flash of light. Aim low, my little one. We may not make it to the night. And it repeats the chorus again, and then the song is done.
It says, a quick Magdalena, take my gun, look up in the hills, that
Quick,
flash of
take,
light. It makes it sound
quick,
like they saw a
Magdalena, take
UFO
my
and they're
gum.
gonna be abducted. It made it sound like, let's run up that hill quick. Like, oh look, is that a UFO? Then they all get abducted and get anally probed.
Hmm. All right,
Alrighty,
next
and
next
this
song is Black Diamond Bay, and I
you
also
know
really like the song.
it's the one thing about this song here that I'm gonna say, dude. This is probably the only instance that I've heard from any Bob Dylan album so far where they had the song transition to the next without, a
Yeah,
pause.
yeah. No,
Like,
so what I wrote down for this song was I thought parts of the song were decent, but other parts were great.
yeah, I'm. I can't remember what my thoughts were for the song. To be honest with you, I think I did say like it was another good one here. But like I said, I can't really remember, dude. It's been a long fucking day I've been having. So, all right, so. Here's what the information says. As described by Halen, Black Diamond Bay describes the destruction of a tiny island following the eruption of a volcano. Observed from two perspectives. Get your fucking ass back here right now. From a hotel on the island itself and from the narrator's point of view through a television news report. The song essentially describes what the people on the island are doing at the time, often drawing attention to the ironic futility of their actions. For example, one of the islanders is preparing to commit suicide when the volcano erupts and destroys the island. The song also describes the news watcher's indifference to the catastrophes he hears about on Walter Cronkite's TV newscast as the narrator goes to get another beer, then watch the news story about the catastrophe on the island. He says, I never did plan to go away to Black Diamond Bay. Joseph Conrad's novel Victory was a major influence on the song, which references many of its themes. The song title, the island, the volcano, the gambling, and the Panama hat are all references to Victory. A drawing of Conrad appeared on the back of the album sleeve. Alrighty, here we go with the lyrics. Up to the white veranda, she wears a necktie and a Panama hat. Her passport shows a face from another time and place. She looks nothing like that. and all the remnants of her recent past are scattered in the wild wind. She walks across the marble floor where a voice from the gambling room is calling her to come on in. She smiles, walks the other way as the last ship sails and the moon fades away from Black Diamond Bay. I want to keep saying Black Diamond Dog for some reason. Up, I just heard the dump truck outside.
Yep. There's an album by David Bowie called Diamond Dogs, actually, but that doesn't matter.
Diamond Dogs. As the morning light breaks open, the Greek comes down and he asks for a rope and a pen that will write, Pardon, monsieur, the desk clerk says. Carefully removes his fez. Am I hearing you right? And as the yellow fog is lifting, the Greek is quickly heading for the second floor. She passes him on the spiral staircase. Thinking he's the Soviet ambassador, he starts to speak, but he walks away as the storm cloud rises and the palm branches away. Or branches sway, I meant. Fuck! On the Black Diamond Bay. A soldier sits beneath the fan, doing business with a tiny man who sells him a ring. I ain't selling this one. Fuck y'all haters. Lightning strikes. The lights blow out. The desk clerk wakes and begins to shout, Can you see anything? Then the Greek appears on the second floor, in his bare feet with a rope around his neck, while a loser in the gambling room lights up a candle, says, Open up another deck. But the dealer says, Attends-vous, s'il vous plaît, I think, as the rain beats down and the crane flies away from Black Diamond Bay. The desk clerk heard the woman
the
laugh.
dealer is saying, please wait, in French. Sorry, I just wanted to translate that for you.
Yeah. As he looked around the aftermath and the soldier got tough, he tried to grab the woman's hand, said, Here's a ring, it cost $1,000. She said, That ain't enough. Then, also, now all of a sudden, this bitch right here has standards for the pricing of jewelry. Get the fuck out of here with that. Then she ran upstairs to pack her bags, while a horse-drawn taxi waited at the curb. She passed the door that the Greek had locked, where a handwritten sign read, Do not disturb. She knocked upon it anyway. As the sun went down and the music did play, she saw two people fucking on Black Diamond Bay. I had to do it. I had to fucking do it. That part's not really on there, but I had to fucking do it, people. I had to do it. I don't give a fuck, dude. I've got to talk to someone quick. But the Greek said, Go away, and he kicked the chair to the floor. He hung there from the chandelier. She cried, Help, there's danger near, please open the door. Then the volcano erupted, and the lava flowed down from the mountain high above. The soldier and the tiny man were crouched in the corner, thinking of forbidden love. But the desk clerk said it happens every day. As the stars fell down and the fields burned away, they decided to have end of the world sex on Black Diamond Bay.
You're fucking hilarious, dude.
Man,
You never
I
cease to make me laugh.
Anyway, as the island slowly sank, the loser finally broke the bank in the gambling room. The dealer said, It's too late now. You could quit playing with your pussy over there, by the way. You can take your money, but I don't know how. You'll spend it in the tomb. The tiny man bit the soldier's ear as the floor caved in and the boiler in the basement blew while she's out on the balcony where a stranger tells her, My darling, je vous aime beaucoup. What does that mean?
Uh, darling, I love you very much.
She sheds a tear and then begins to pray as the fire burns on and the smoke drifts away from Black Diamond Bay. I was sitting home alone one night in LA watching old Cronkite on the 7 o'clock news. It seems that there was an earthquake that left nothing but a Panama hat and a pair of old Greek shoes. Didn't seem like much was happening, so I turned it off and went to grab another beer. Seems like every time you turn around, there's another hard luck story that you're gonna hear, and there's really nothing anyone can say. And I never did plan to go away to Black Diamond Bay, but as I'm here having a drink, I hear, "Open your eyes, Nicholas." Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, every chance I get, I always keep making that fucking joke.
All
Alrighty.
right. I didn't care for this next song either, really.
You know, I didn't really much either, but I will say this: there is actually something good about this song, and that is the fact that it was a tribute to his then wife, Sarah Lowndes. It was. Let me see if I. Yeah, she was the first wife of Bob Dylan, actually. And I from what it says here at the time, like his marriage with her was falling apart around the time when he recorded Blood on the Tracks in 74. So I think this was like a um I can't remember. I really don't know how to describe it, but there's some info that's right here that I'll quickly read. And
Okay.
Desire closes with Sara, arguably Dylan's most public display of his own personal life, because Bob Dylan, he was not the type of guy who would talk about his personal life or, you know, let anyone from the media see it. Your cat's playing with your TV.
Did you get the cat down first so it doesn't knock over my Switch? All right. I just don't want the cats to knock over my Switch too, because that was expensive.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so an ambitious tribute to his wife Sara. It is one of Dylan's only songs in which he steps out of his public persona and directly addresses a real person with striking biographical accuracy. Tim Riley wrote that it was a fevered cry of loss posing as sincere devotion. Dylan's marriage was in a turbulent state when he wrote the song. Dylan's estrangement from his wife had led to at least one separation in that previous year, which was in 75. Sara was present at the song's recording session on July 31st, 1975. Oh, dude. And you know what? That I think if I remember correctly, that was the no, that is the day that Jimmy Hoffa disappeared. If I remember correctly. Lee, and that was like considered one of the most famous disappearances in history. So,
Yeah. Still haven't found him.
yep. Well, he could be buried in the end zone at Giant for the New York Giants Stadium.
But they might
That's
have
where
given them
they
the
literally
old
said
concrete
that.
shoes.
They literally said that's where he could be at. But of course, they're not going to bury it because they would have to redo the whole fucking field if they decide to dig it for him.
Hmm.
They didn't say which end zone though. All right, so the recording session was on July 31st, 75. On the same day, he recorded two other songs that touched on the subject of marriage, which was Isis and Abandoned Love. However, in March 1977, Sara would file for divorce. In the lyrics of Sara, Dylan states that he wrote Sad Eyed Lady of the Lowlands from Blonde on Blonde for Sara Dylan. And
Yeah. Want me to go into the lyrics?
yeah, why don't you go ahead and read them?
All right. I laid on a dune. I looked at the sky when the children were babies and played on the beach. You came up behind me. I saw you go by. You were always so close and still within reach. Sarah, Sarah, whatever made you want to change your mind? Sarah, Sarah, go easy to look at, so hard to find, so hard to define. I can still see them playing with their pails in the sand. They run to the water, their buckets to fill. I can still see the shells falling out of their hands as they follow each other back up the hill. Sarah swears, Sarah, sweet virgin
Suarez.
angel, sweet love of my life, Sarah, radiant jewel, mystical wife. Sleeping in the woods by a fire in the night, drinking white rum from a Portugal bar. Them playing leapfrog and hearing about Snow White. You in the marketplace in Savannah Lamar. Sarah, it's also clear I could never forget. Sarah, oh Sarah, loving you is the one thing I'll never regret. I can still hear the sounds of those Methodist bells. I'd taken the cure and had just gotten through, staying up for days in the Chelsea Hotel, writing Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands for you. Sarah, wherever we travel, we're never apart. Sarah, oh Sarah, beautiful lady, so dear to my heart. How did I meet you? I don't know. A messenger sent me in a tropical storm. You were there in the winter, moonlight on the snow, and down Lily Pond Lane when the weather was warm. Sarah, oh Sarah,
Stella.
Scorpio Sphinx in a calico dress. Sarah, oh Sarah, you must forgive me for my unworthiness. Now the beach is deserted except for some kelp and a piece of an old ship that lies on the shore. You always responded when I needed your help. You gave me a map and a key to your door. Sarah, oh Sarah, glamorous nymph with an arrow and bow. Sarah, oh Sarah, don't ever leave me. Don't ever go.
And unfortunately, she did. So is that it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What would you rate it as?
Solid 7.
For me, dude, it's kind of tough to say, to be honest with you, but I'll be honest with you. I would probably give it like a 6 or 7, to be honest with you, mainly because of the fact that Hurricane is the only song that we know mostly from this. And like, while some of the songs, all the songs are really decent and good, especially with how
Yeah.
poetic Bob Dylan is, it just feels like I just really could not connect with these songs a lot.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd give it like, I don't know, I want to say like 6 8 to a 7. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. But obviously, obviously my favorite song here is obviously Hurricane, without a
Me too.
doubt.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, that is an automatic favorite right there, without a doubt, man. I mean, even despite the fact that these songs I really couldn't, just feel or get that feel to it, there is no denying that Bob Dylan is a poetic genius, and
Yes,
he
he's a great
rightfully
poet.
deserves that title. And even here's the thing, dude, like he wasn't a progressive rock musician too,
Yeah.
And even then, like some of the lyrics that we heard on some of his songs here, dude, you would assume that it would have been a prog rock musician that would have did that.
Yeah, and with the length of some of the songs, it's very unusual for outside of Prague.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
I mean,
Anything
in the
else you want?
Decemberists' new album, they had a song called Joan in the Garden, which is like around 20 minutes.
I mean
Which
that's
you could,
progressive folk.
some of their music you could argue is progressive folk, correct?
Yeah. Alrighty, man. So is that it? You got anything else you want to say about it? Or
Nope, got nothing to say.
alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for this podcast. I want to say, everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. And I wanted to try and be a lot more positive and whatnot, but with no fucking booze and the fact that I was been up since like 9 p.m. yesterday, dude. Like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm just out of it. But no, obviously, but nevertheless, dude, I am ready to do some more album reviews. We got a whole lot of good anniversaries this year that I look forward to, and we'll just see where we go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a huge Bob Dylan fan, what are your favorite songs from him? Let me know in the comments below, and also comment what you think we should talk about in future podcast episodes. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Roger Radio Show. I don't know why the hell you're doing that. Anyway,
I'm
ring the
raising my
bell.
hand because I got something to say.
Yeah, well, you can fucking wait. I'm trying to do my outro.
That's why I'm raising my hand. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
God damn it. All right, do your fucking outro then. Just say whatever.
All right. I just wanted to say, check out the Intermission group. We're doing a Let's Play of Pokemon Emerald. It is really fun. Check it out.
Yep, check that out, and be sure to check out for future content on there as well, people. Subscribe there, and subscribe to the Roger Radio Show. Like I said, hit the like my fucking videos. One like will equal you winning an iPhone 5. And also be sure to hit the bell to be notified when I upload. And also be sure to subscribe to the Intermission group. And also subscribe to El Gallo Productions as well. And follow me on all my social media. The links to everything will be in the description below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, until next time, ta-ta for now!
Peace.